Morning glory and evening grace, America. I'm Hugh on an election night. I hope if you are in Virginia or New Jersey, you stop by your polling place on your drive home. We really need the participation. Beginning this hour with West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito. She is the chair of the Senate Environmental Committee and a welcome guest on the Hugh Hewitt Show. Senator, good to see you again. How are you?
Thanks, Hugh. Doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I want to talk first about the Schumer shutdown. It went from being a slogan to being a brand. Now it's tattooed on the Democrats. I don't know they're ever going to live this down like Marley's ghost carrying the lockboxes around behind him. What do you think? Are they going to get off of this, get stuck on stupid and get unstuck?
I don't know. You would think at least five of them would have the common sense to move over, especially in light of the services that you see, the air traffic control, the SNAP benefits, possible other things that are really hurting people. It's not just a game, and this is really going right to the heart. As you know, my state of West Virginia, there are a lot of people who are on not just WIC but on the SNAP program, and I honestly, it just astounds me that they can still sit there as they did today and vote no.
Now,
No,
I
don't
had Governor
open.
Morrissey.
No. Yeah.
I had Governor Morrissey on yesterday. He said 270,000 people get SNAP in West Virginia. He's
Right.
calling on private food bank. That's a crisis, really.
It's a crisis. And, I think a lot of people think of it. Some people will slough it off and go, oh, these people don't need all these benefits. I'm sorry. If you're a young mother, maybe a single mother working a lower minimum wage job, you have two kids. If you think you can't feed your children, that's a horrifying thought. And that's
Yeah.
what we're facing. And that's what she's facing. And, it's just like, get on with it, Schumer, and release your people. Here's the only thing I can say optimistic in the last 2 hours is they had a very long lunch. Normally, when you have a long lunch, that means there's disagreement as to what way to go. But I'm an optimist, but I'm not optimistic about this.
Well, I got to think that Senator Ossoff is one of the more endangered incumbents in the United States Senate, and people in Georgia aren't going to get their SNAP benefits. And if Atlanta's giant airport starts to suffer delays, the air traffic controllers have made it pretty clear that they're fed up and they can't miss a second paycheck.
Well, it's all about, first of all, it was, oh, we're going to wait till we get the insurance premiums. Well, that was Saturday. Now we're going to wait until election. So, okay, that's going to come and go. After tomorrow, that's going to be gone. We're looking at this weekend with Veterans Day being a federal holiday. A lot of people are taking the weekend, taking a 4-day weekend. Those airports are going to be packed, and people are going to be very dissatisfied. I heard somebody had 5-hour TSA lines the other day. I can't believe they're not feeling the heat because I certainly am. People are tired of it. Nobody wins here. Nobody wins.
Longest shutdown in history. I'm just curious from the perspective of chair of the Senate Environmental Committee. EPA is not open, and there are a bunch of other, like ACOE, Army Corps of Engineers, other agencies with of which you have oversight. Are there any that concern you? Any operations that have been shut down that concern you greatly?
Well, here's what concerns me is we want to build. We want to issue permits. We want to move forward with getting materials. We want awards that have been awarded to move forward. A lot of them are just hung up because everybody's furloughed. They can't process the paperwork, which we know takes an enormous amount of time anyway. And so that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried it's going to disrupt this cycle of building, of moving our permits further down the line. And it just we're missing a season here. I mean, it's going to be winter soon, and you can't build as well in the winter in certain areas of the country. So it's very disruptive, I think, and discouraging.
All right, let me turn to the filibuster, Senator Capito. I am a huge defender of it. I know it's not in the Constitution, but it is a minority right that has protected the court, especially the Supreme Court, from overzealousness in the expansion and what I would think would be the destruction of the rule of law. President Trump is just frustrated. He's a businessman. He doesn't get the filibuster serves a longer term purpose. What do you think?
Well, I signed that letter in 2017 that said I would not vote to remove the filibuster. I'm not one of those people that signs a letter and pledges to do something and then turns around 7 years later or 8 years later and rejects that. initial, like the Democrats did, I would say, in 2023. I do believe, as you do, that it preserves the minority rights. It pushes us to negotiation. It creates better policies. It prevents things that, and a lot of times in Washington, it's not what you can get through; it's what you can prevent from getting through. And the filibuster really aids with that. I understand the president's frustration. We're all frustrated, but in my view, we don't have the votes for it anyway. So I don't want to see us have created an environment with the president and our leadership and other members in our Senate caucus where we're fighting with one another. We're a team, and we should be moving forward as effectively as we can. And that is to push the Democrats and the Schumer shutdown to reopen the government. The president knows that the Democrats are going to try to obstruct him every single way that they possibly can.
Now, it's long been said that there are workhorses and show horses in the Senate. You're one of the workhorses. I am curious what you think of Operation Arctic Frost. I doubt you were targeted because you are a workhorse, but your colleagues were. How shocked are you?
Very shocked. And of course, my colleagues who were the ones actually targeted, and I'm not sure we really know to what extent. Were they looking at papers? Were they looking at just phone, metadata? Were they looking at things more detailed? I don't think we have the full story here. And I would support an investigation into this absolutely. And I think that those that were targeted are very feel violated in a way because of the separation of powers and their not being informed as to what was going on. Why is it's taken 3 years for this to come out? That's a good question. I would say hat tip to Chairman Grassley for uncovering this through a whistleblower. I believe he's a big proponent of whistleblowers, and in this case, I think well placed. But I think it just shows you the suspicion and also the Trump derangement syndrome that exists in the Democrat Party all the way through the highest reaches of the Department of Justice, the IRS, we know, and others.
And the FBI, which brings me to something I discussed with with Governor Morrissey yesterday. The FBI's old building's got to come down. I think GSA came up with a plan to move the bureau into the Reagan building, which is the craziest thing I've heard. It's not designed. It's not safe. It's not where the bureau should be. I suggest they need a campus. Why not put it in West Virginia, Senator? Give them their own FBI campus. A lot of people drive in from West Virginia every day.
They do, and we would certainly welcome the FBI. But I think you and I have a difference of opinion here. The GSA just came back with a prospectus for the Reagan building to put the FBI in there. There are insurances built in that the safetiness is there, but also we're not going to spend $5 billion to go to Greenbelt, Maryland. We have the money already appropriated to about 1.5 billion, and so we approved that through our committee on a party line vote just last week. So we'll see what happens in the House. The House has to move on that. But honestly, I think it's a solid plan. I prefer having the FBI closer in town for a variety of reasons. I'm not saying I wouldn't take everybody in West Virginia and we would welcome them with open arms, but I do think the plan that they've put forward for the FBI in the Reagan building, I think works, and I think it would work well. So I guess we don't
I'll have
agree.
to get you offline. We're going to have to disagree because of the counterintelligence work I did years ago for justice. I just don't think it's smart to have the Bureau be a target in this age of electronic eavesdropping in the middle. I think they need a campus like Langley or like Meade, and there's no land like that. I don't want it to go to Maryland, by the way. I think that's crazy, but I think West Virginia would be fine. Let me close by asking you about scheduling on the shutdown votes. Senator Thune has been, the leader's been very, very patient, doing one a day. Are we going to keep doing one a day, or are we going to go to two a day? Because this ought to embarrass every one of your Democratic colleagues.
You would think so, but it's been 14 times. I mean, I voted to keep the government open 13 times under President Biden because I think a government shutdown is such a disservice to anybody. We're going to keep plowing the ground here and hopefully have a vote. I think there's a little blue sky for the end of the week. Let's keep our fingers crossed that somebody will come to their senses. 5 people will come to their senses and we can reopen the government.
I hope you're right, Senator, because I'm flying Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I really hope you get it done. Have a great weekend, Senator, and a great election night. It's always great to talk to you and catch up. And we'll go offline about the Bureau downtown. It's such a waste of the Reagan building, too. Thank you, Senator Shelley Moore Capito. Don't go anywhere, America. I'm going to come back to back, Senator. Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa joins me next. Don't go anywhere. Stay